Good evening, everybody. I made a post earlier today talking about women who are unhappy at home, how they lash out and retaliate against women who are happy and seem to have a lot going for them. And I have a commenter question. The commenter asked, do they behave this way subconsciously, or do they actively do this to soothe themselves throughout the day? And while this is a different comment that shows up, just click on this one and it's right above it. My TikTok is being a little bit funny, and I don't know if it's due to the switch. My name is Dr. Natalie Jones. I'm a licensed therapist. Women who lash out at other women, they're well aware of what they're doing. They're well aware of this antagonistic attitude that they have, and a lot of times what they will do, um, as what we saw with the first example I used, where I talked about the show where a woman was doing this, they will actively recruit other women to gang up on said women. And I've experienced this again in the workplace. Usually, when a supervisor or another woman within the workplace becomes antagonistic towards another woman, she will usually recruit other people to do it. There may even be meetings about it. Um, Anything between meetings with upper level management to meetings, private meetings with other colleagues, and where everyone is sort of invited to gang up on and talk junk about said woman, or come up with whatever sort of stuff that you could find, strategize, even coming up with a plan to take down, get them to act out or lash out, because a lot of times what is happening is most women are poked and prodded, like they're poking the bear, and they continue to do this until they get a reaction. It's not like, oh, it's like a one-off comment that kind of doesn't drive well, and then it just fizzles away in the wind because I don't do anything and therefore she doesn't do anything. It's not like that. It's usually women will like that will recruit other women, and they will continue to goad you until they get a response. So they're very conscious, they're very aware, they do soothe themselves. There is a joy, a bit of glee, because, if you notice, especially when it's a group effort, women are cackling about it. They're laughing, they're talking about it after work or throughout the day. So there is sort of this self satisfaction that I've done something to stomp down on someone, like, and I talked about aggression in men. I talked about, like, how men sort of, will get together and humiliate other men, but women are neck and neck with men when it comes to relational aggression, when it comes to the psychological and emotional and even the verbal stuff. Women can definitely give men a run for the money here, especially if there's another woman involved. A lot of times, even if there's a man in the mix, they will circumvent that man and antagonize the woman instead. And so they feel good about it. They feel great. They sleep better at night. A lot of women may even look forward to coming to work, or coming to said situation to do it again the next day. There's something that they definitely become fixated on. It's like a dog with a bone. Certainly, other places can breed this more than others, but when you work in a system, a place. That's why I said the pet to threat phenomenon. And the pet to threat phenomenon in the workplace is when, Black women or Black people are antagonized in the workplace. And in my experience, when that happens, when a supervisor turns like that, you know, that supervisor is then going back and reporting to leadership. That supervisor is usually going back to recruit other people they're inviting other people to rack up minor infractions that other people get a pass for. You know, like, oh, did they come in like 5 minutes late? Did they go to the bathroom too much? What were they doing? Like, you know, there's sort of this monitoring and surveillance, and they're recruiting other people. They're slanting the narrative. Um, and and believe it or not, I've been in some situations. I mean, even in court sometimes, or uh, you know, in the workplace. You know, it's amazing to me how one person can say something and other people just sort of jump on the bandwagon and buy into it. You know, so when they're doing this smear campaign, a lot of times other people will just jump on, and they'll regurgitate something that they didn't even see, or something that they don't even know about, and that stuff can spread like wildfire. Um, and a lot of times once it's out there, and once the damage is done, it's very hard to take back and recover from. And that's why I say, you want to move around. That stuff really takes a toll on your livelihood. And there are women that, again, sleep better at night knowing that they took that from you, because that's something that take a they've had taken away from them. That's why I say abuse is not a linear thing. A lot of times, people who are victims of abuse will turn around and abuse and oppress other people, because that's their way of getting their power back or feeling good about themselves. Particularly people that have this ego about them. So when you're talking about people like doctors, for example, people who feel like they're better than, and don't feel like they should be told what to do, or they start to have this sort of godlike complex. Um, it's very little to do. It's very little that you can do. Like, they really start to take their power back amongst other people. They get off on the idea that they can oppress somebody else because they feel like inevitably I was supposed to be the top dog anyway, or I am the top dog. And so that narrative that they should be spending at home, that I'm this great wife with that husband that's less than stellar, that's cheating, that's not working, that's, not stepping up to the plate to parent. They may spin the same narrative at home. I'm a great woman. I'm this, I'm that. But guess what? They're not leaving that man. They're not leaving that man. They'll bitch about it, and they'll be resentful about it, and they may sort of retaliate passively, aggressively. And I think this is where a lot of workplace affairs and other things come into play. They may do those types of things, but they're not going to leave that man. But when it comes to another woman, they'll go for the jugular. So I hope that helps. Thanks for asking.